Hey guys, it's Jack from Jack Literary Corner, and I'm kind of doing this on the cuff here. I recently watched this morning. I watched Olive from a book Olive doing an original tag, and I decided I was going to do it, and then today I chose to wear one of the new outfits I bought. Probably looks kind of sloppy right now. With these really cute jeans, you can't really see them. It's those jeans that they kind of have the stitched up holes in them. They're really cute. I have a hard time finding jeans because I'm either finding myself pulling them up, which actually I just realized that I'm doing that with these, or like they're really tight on me because I'm not skinny. I'm skinny, but I have a bit of a stomach. And it's my own fault because I don't do anything like push-ups or anything like that. I just run as much as I can. But of course, in the summer, it's a little hard because it gets really hot. We're in North Carolina, and it does get pretty hot during the summer, even though it's considered north. It's not that, But I kind of wanted to show my cute outfit off because, unfortunately, I can't wear this to work. Because I work at a grocery store, and we sort of have a uniform. I was just thinking it'd be so much cooler. I wish we just had, instead of a uniform, instead of a specific shirt we had to wear, I wish, we just had pins or something, that had the Harris Teeter logo on it. And that we didn't have to wear a specific shirt. I think at when you work at a clothing store, I don't think you have to wear a specific, some of them do. And I think if I had got a job at Books A Million, I wouldn't have to wear a specific shirt. I could wear, whatever I want as long as it looked appropriate and didn't look sloppy and it looked professional. It's funny for someone who never claims to be a fashionista. I do get excited about cute outfits, and I like showing them off and stuff. Especially because most of the time I'm just lounging around at home, so I like to have an excuse to go out. But sometimes that excuse involves me going to the bookstore and buying books that I shouldn't be buying. But anyway, let me get to the tag. So the tag that Olive created was Under the Influence book tag. She said she was thinking about the fact that a lot of times those of us who are here on Booktube, we are influenced quite a bit when we start watching Booktube and if we create a channel. So she was searching around, seeing if there are any, and surprisingly, despite the fact that a lot of book tags ask a question that relates to this topic, there isn't really any specific tag that's actually about the influence of Booktube on your reading. So here goes the question, and like I said, I'm doing this on a cuff here. So, and the good news is I don't have to show off. I don't have to show off any books, so I can just sit here and talk to you guys. Okay. So the first question is, what's a fantastic book you read off the recommendation of another booktuber, and oppositely, what's a book you were talked out of reading because of a booktuber's review? And I just realized as I started filming this, I don't really have an answer to this question. This is one of the ones I definitely should have thought about beforehand before I decided to film this. Well, a lot of people Booktube was what got me into Sarah J. Maas books, and I really like those. Although I've since moved on from Sarah J. Maas. I still read her books, still enjoy them. I definitely enjoy them more than, Cassandra Clare's books, but I still love those as well. I'm trying to think. I don't have a specific book because my problem is, I guess Six of Crows in a way. Sam from Thoughts on Tomes talks about the whole Grisha verse all the time. Now I didn't like the Grisha books, but I did absolutely love Six of Crows. Which surprisingly, I still have not finished Crooked Kingdom. And I was just thinking about that last night. I don't know. I can't pinpoint if there is a fantastic book. I'm eager to. I'm starting reading Nevernight, and I'm reading. Well, I guess Mistborn. A lot of people like Elliot Brooks recommend Mistborn, and Reagan from Peruse Projects recommends, and I thought that book was fantastic. And I'm hoping I'll love Nevernight, which Pierre Ford was kind of the one who finally sealed the deal for me and persuaded me to read that book. And I don't have one for the opposite. I don't have I guess the closest to that right now is, again, Elliot Brooks. She said that she wasn't as into the Poppy War as a lot of people are. And so I'm not sure if I want to read that one. Oh, and I'm also, another book that I'm thinking about reading because of Booktuber is Crazy Rich Asians. Because, I can't remember her channel name. I always forget it. And I mean, I can picture it, I can see the name in my head, but I can't figure out how to pronounce it. But it's the term that's used in Outlander for what they call Claire, and it becomes an endearment between her and Jamie. That it's the S word. I can't. I think it's what they call a white person in Scotland, or English, or not white because they're all white, but a British person, an English person. I think that's what they call them. I don't know, though. Don't take me on that. And if you've read the book, don't give me a hard time because I don't remember. I have not read, I still have not gone back to reading Voyager because I did start Voyager, but I haven't. So I don't remember stuff like this. Oh, and I guess Reagan from Peruse Projects had recommended reading The Name of the Wind, and I fell in love with that book as well. So I have more books that were fantastic, or at least I think were really good, that were recommended, but I don't have really any books that, the closest one is probably The Poppy War. I don't have any, I'm not going to read that one. I might still read it. Oh, I guess The Bronze Horseman. I had bought that one because Sam from Thoughts and Tomes talked about that book. Even though she didn't like it, I still bought it because it was only like a couple dollars. It was at the used bookstore where I got it. So, I just figured, but then finally, I didn't know if I was ever going to get around to it, so I watched her review again and other people's reviews, and I went on Goodreads and read reviews, because I use Goodreads a lot, too. And so I guess that's the closest, is The Poppy War and The Bronze Horseman. Although as books that I've been talked out of reading. Question number 2. Has Booktube opened your mind to, or changed your mind about any genre? Well, Olive from Book Off has got me interested more in nonfiction. And I don't know if I can read all the types of books that she reads, but in the nonfiction department, but I am more interested. I haven't read like memoirs and autobiographies and biographies. Although I did read for class, one was for fun, was the Chaplin, his autobiography, Charlie Chaplin's autobiography, because he was played by Robert Downey Jr. in the movie, and I had become even more of a fan of it because I always liked him. But then when he came back on the scene, because he was going to rehab and trying to get his life back on track again and not make the same mistake, and he started doing all these independent films and stuff, and then he did a little comedy on his Tropic Thunder, and I fell in love with his performance. It was so awesome. And, I know that's a controversial performance because he's doing blackface in that movie, but it's also kind of a parody. He's, it's really, of course, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm gonna just stop talking. So after that, I was trying to see other of his other works, and I decided to watch the Chaplin movie that he did, because I think he was either just nominated, or he actually got the Oscar for Chaplin. I can't remember. But, so because of that, I got into Chaplin, and I read his autobiography, and then for class, I think it was for class, I got into Amelia Earhart, and I read her biography, but I still have not finished that book, so I need to finish that one. But yeah, Olive from a Book Olive has got me more into nonfiction. Jen from Insert Literary Pun has got me more into literary fiction. And then actually Elliot Brooks and Katie G have, even though I've always read fantasy, and I read the Dragonlance books, which were pretty big books, but after a while I was reading mostly YA paranormal fantasy, but then they, reminded me of, there's a lot of epic fantasy out there, especially like the big, like Brandon Sanderson's books. So in a way, they've kind of made me more aware of those books. But I don't know if I could say it really changed, changed my mind about genres, except for nonfiction. So question number 3. How much time did you spend on YouTube before Booktube, and how much time do you spend on it now? So I thought about this question to figure out what my answers would be, and there hasn't been much of a change, maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm spending a little bit more time. But I've always, because I will watch clips from shows and movies, my favorite scenes, or like sneak peeks for the next episode, the next episode coming up. And I would, watch those multi-fandom videos with like, where they have a song playing. It's like a music video, except for they show random clips of all these different shows and movies with the song in the background that it kind of reflects the relationships or what's going on with the characters in that storyline. So I would watch a lot of those, and I had gotten into crack videos, those funny videos where they show little bits of audio from all these other sources, like, other movies and TV shows, like in memes and GIFs and stuff like that. And it will go with the scene from one particular show, or sometimes they do multi-fandom cracks where it's multiple shows, and they will do like the part, like, when a character dies, they might show when they kill off a character, or a character is in trouble, your favorite character gets in trouble or dies or something, then they'll do the clip from The Office where Michael something, I can't remember the character's last name because I don't watch the show really. I'm just familiar with it. Where he's like, no, or when they'll show that, or they'll do the whole thing from. I just figured out where this is from, but that one show where the science teacher is into selling drugs, and they have that one big black guy come approaching him and is like, surprise, mother effer. And I don't like saying that word, the actual word. And they will use that audio all the time when characters all of a sudden appear that you thought you got rid of, and they'll all of a sudden pop up, and they will use that audio. So, I mean, I probably didn't need to explain crack videos to you guys, but anyway. And I would also watch interviews for shows and movies and stuff, like with interviews with the actors and stuff. I really, I've been watching a lot of the top 10 Mojo thing, where they will, the top 10 worst movies, or the top 10, movies that ruin an actor's career or a director's career or something. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube way before, so I don't think there's really much of a difference. Maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit, but it's basically. The only difference is now instead of watching all that stuff, I'm watching more Booktube videos. So I'm wasting my time on there. That's So, question number 4. How many books did you read per month? How many books did you read per month, per year before Booktube, and how many do you read now? Okay, this was another one I thought about, and I really don't know. I was not one of those people that would keep track of how many books, and I don't have a guesstimation of how many books, but I know, but it does feel like I'm reading a lot more, and this is an answer for another question that comes up later, but I definitely feel more obligated to read more books. But I would spend a lot of time in front of the TV, because that was my first addiction. And watching TV. So I didn't read as much as I could have, but I don't have a guesstimation of, but I do feel like I'm reading a lot more now than I did before I started watching Booktuber and before I made a channel. So I really don't know, but I was never one of those people. I'm still not one of those people who can read like 10 to 20 books in a month. I can't do that. And it's my own fault. I mean, I choose to watch a lot of TV and, instead of being on the computer and watching Booktube or YouTube or just surfing when I could be reading a book. So yeah, I don't know. Question number 5. Has Booktube affected your book buying habits? And if so, are you pleased or displeased by that? Yeah, I think it has, because I am definitely more aware of all the books that are out there. I definitely have more information on the books that, the popular books, and then the books that, even if they're not the most popular, they're not the Booktube darlings, I watch Booktubers that talk about those particular books. So I'm definitely trying to buy more, and, and it does help, like, it's not just Booktube, it's also the fact that now I have, a regular job, I'm getting paid regularly, so I have more money. And as long as I'm cautious and careful, which I don't, according to my mom, I'm probably not. But then I can buy more books. I can treat myself. So and Booktube has made me more aware of those books I can treat myself with. It definitely makes, there's so many books so many series and so many books. I mean, some of these I probably would have discovered on my own eventually. But I'm definitely buying more books because of Booktube. If a Booktube has talked about how great a book is, then I'm going to buy it. And if if it's a book that I'm uncertain about, but I see it at the used bookstore, then I might buy that one too if I'm kind of interested, because, used bookstore, it's not that expensive. Like the Bronze Horseman, for instance, which I mentioned earlier in this video. So yeah, my book buying habits have become almost out of control. Although compared to some of you guys, it's probably not that out of control. But. So, and I think I am pleased in a way. I'm personally pleased, but at the same time, it's not good for my income. Although the good news is the only thing I have to do at least as of right now, is I just have to, write a check to my mom every month. But that's about it. I don't have any bills to pay, at least not yet. Okay, so question number 6. Has a reviewer by a booktuber ever retroactively made you reconsider your stance on a book? Kind of. I don't have a specific book or a specific review, but I am definitely more aware of the flaws of YA books, like Twilight and stuff. And I started reading Sarah J. Maas at the same time as I started joining Booktube, watching Booktube videos, and then eventually making a channel. But the only thing I've considered is that these books, that YA books, in Sarah J. Maas, because Sarah J. Maas, even though she's in the YA section, the way she writes, it seems very mature for, typical YA. But I've definitely been made more aware of the flaws of this, and that these books aren't perfect, which, I still love Sarah J. Maas, so it's not like I've stopped reading her because of that, but I am donating Throne of Glass to the used bookstore. I think it's a good series, but I've come to realize that it's not a series I want to keep, and it's like a series that, because I'm noticing the flaws of that particular. So nothing specific, but you know, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely being made more aware of the flaws and the problematic elements of books. Okay, question number 7. Are there any videos you've been inspired to make after seeing another booktuber's videos? Have you ever felt inspired by another booktuber style? In style as in either their video style, their book organization style, their personal style, anything. What's the first part of that question? Are there any books I've been inspired to make? Any videos I've been inspired to make? Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy making those tags. But I want to make more reviews. Like, I will watch, all the 4 booktubers I mentioned, Kitty G, Elliot Brooks, Olive from a Book Olive, and Jen from Insert Literary Pun, and they are great. They are amazing reviewers, at least I think so. And I definitely it's something that I want to work on. I want to become a better reviewer. And I already have a hard time as it is coming up with material that isn't boring. I mean, I hope you guys are liking what I'm doing, but I do feel like I'm a little repetitive with I do a lot of book hauls, or at least like really mini, tiny book hauls, because, I go to the used bookstore, especially since it's like a 10-minute walk for me. And I do these tags and stuff, but I do want to do more reviews. And I like with those 4 girls that I just mentioned, those 4 female booktubers, I like how they review their books. And I want to get better at my reviewing my books. And I know it takes a lot of practice, so I just got to keep practicing and working on it. Although part of the problem is when I'm reading a book, I'm not thinking about it critically. I'm just being entertained by it. And I'm not thinking, I'm not considering or marking up the book and finding out what's the stuff I did and didn't like. But I am trying to get better at it. Now, I know I will never be, like them when it comes to my reviews, but I definitely they inspire me to get better at my reviewing skills. So I guess that kind of answers the whole question. Well, no, the other part of the question, have I ever felt inspired by another booktuber style? And it's more their style of organization. Ever since, I used to organize my books, just by genre and author. But now I'm watching all these booktubers who will, I've discovered the rainbow shelf on Booktube, which I really love doing. But of course that also separates books from their authors. I mean, certain, books that are part of a series, it will sometimes separate those. And I know, Elliot Brooks talked about how it's good to put books that are kind of the same size and, that are hardbacks together and paperbacks together, because then it will leave more room. But then, because a lot of my books are a lot of series, especially because I've been using the used bookstore a lot, aren't always the same size, because I'm not one of those people who is bothered by that. I don't care if my books are all the same size. I'm not gonna spend time getting all hardback editions of Marissa Meyer's books in my Ken Follett books. Yes, the Century trilogy, all the books are the same, but his other the King's Bridge Chronicle series or trilogy or whatever, that one's not gonna, the first book is a mass market paperback, and then the next book is a regular trade paperback. So that's the only problem with that. Series would be separated if I tried to match them. And I've also discovered on Booktube the method of horizontal stacking of books. And I do like that one just for aesthetically pleasing aspects. Although I don't know if it really helps make room. So yeah, definitely how people organize their books has influenced me on Booktube. So, question number 8, which I kind of already answered this. What are pressures you feel on your reading life because of your channel? I definitely feel like I need to read more books in a month compared to other people. And as I said in the previous question, I know that I spend more time watching the TV, and I feel bad that I don't choose to read a book. And again, I admit it is my own fault. I choose to watch TV or go surf the internet or watch booktube videos or watch YouTube videos in general when I could be reading a book. Now, part of the problem, and I'm not blaming my friend on this, but she wants to talk to me on the internet, so on Facebook. That's Rascal. You can see his little head right here. Little baby boy. The only boy baby we had. So I feel like, and again, I'm not trying to blame her, because, I want to talk to her too. So I try to read my books, but then I feel like I need to respond to her, and I feel like I need to give her time. And she's not always, she doesn't read as much as I do. I mean, she enjoys and loves reading, but she doesn't read regularly like I do. She doesn't choose to read. And now, of course, in her case, she also lives with family members. Or at least, like yesterday and today, she's visiting her mom, so she's with her mom and her sister. So sometimes she can't take the time to read. And in a way, she probably kind of has the same problem I do. It's like easy for her to get on the internet and start surfing the internet. And I did tell her, I was like, you need to do a TBR. That might help you. I mean, I don't know if it will, but I did tell her that maybe she should try doing a TBR so she can make. But I don't know if she ever fell through with that. But sometimes when I'm talking to her and she's talking, it does frustrate me, especially when she wants to talk to me. And we end up getting stuck on the internet, and a part of me is like thinking, no, I need to be reading my book, but then I feel like I need to respond to you, But again, it's my own choice, I choose to do this. So, what's the main? So the pressures I feel pressure to read more books, and I feel guilty that I'm not. And I also feel pressure to read a certain amount of books in a month, and I know I can't do that. And that's why I don't like doing those readathons, or like I have a friend who did like a bingo TBR, and I'm thinking, a month would help, but then sometimes, especially because I'm trying to read the over 500-page books more, and that will take me a lot longer, because I'm not a fast reader. So I feel pressure there, and I don't want to waste my time just reading short books just because so I can get books done in a month. Not that it's a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, but there's long books that I want to read too that I really love. But again, there's that pressure of feeling like you have to get a certain amount of books done in a certain period of time. So there is a little bit of pressure there. Okay, that was question number 8. Need it right here beside me. Question number 9. In what way, if any, do you feel the social element of the community has impacted your reading? Do you think about books differently since joining? I think it definitely has made me more aware of certain books, for one, which I mentioned earlier, and it definitely makes you more aware of the books, the negative aspects of the book, and you realize, and I've come to realize, how different everybody's opinions are. I mean, that started when I joined Facebook, and I started, joining groups that talked about certain shows. I absolutely love certain shows. Like that, it started back in 2011 with Once Upon a Time and being part of that community of fans. And I've definitely come to realize that everybody has such different opinions. And some people can be mean with their opinions. I know I can be sensitive, but some people are just plain mean. And I always try to rein myself in, and I try to step back if I know I'm going to get upset. And I just don't say anything. But people can just be really mean. And it's the same in the book community. I mean, the Booktube is pretty good. You know, most of the booktube people are super nice and really sweet and stuff, but yes, but the social aspects are definitely, you can either be surrounded by really super nice people who are open and just happen to have different opinions, like on booktube mostly, or you can have the opposite, you know, where people just get really ugly and opinionated and really hate on, and get mad at you and like, how dare you judge this book, how dare you not love this book. You know, I mean, yeah, when I'm watching them and people say, in their videos, I don't like this book, I'm not going to continue with this series. And yeah, I get a little upset, but I don't ever say anything. I just will vent out loud to myself. Or like vent to my friends who love the book as much as I do. But I will never comment any hate comments and be like, how dare you? You know, I will just keep that emotional response to myself, or vent, or express that response to someone who I know would agree with me. But then after I'm calmed down a little bit, I'm thinking, well, okay, I guess I can kind of understand why this person feels the way they do, and I can respect that. And it helps to have stepped far away. Like, I'm far enough away from Twilight, even though I still, that joke about still a better love story than Twilight still irks me, because I am one of those people who like Twilight, who liked, as the past tense, I've moved on from it, but I'm far enough away from it that I can appreciate a joke where people are mocking Twilight, or pointing out the flaws of Twilight. Like, I participate in a comment on a discussion about Twilight, and, where they ask, why do people not like this series? And I was able to comment, I said that I think part of the reason is they don't like the main character, the protagonist of the story, Bella. Like, she's a very flawed character. And then someone pointed out something about the character and made me a little bit, well, okay, I'm still not a big fan of this character, but obviously my first thought was, great, now I have to feel bad about that character and I can't not like her because of this. And honestly, that was my first thought. I was really frustrated. This person made me realize, wait, that's not really fair for me to judge this character. And, but then after a while, I was like, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, they made a point. Okay, yeah, it makes sense now, and I guess I can kind of feel sorry for her. I still don't like the character, but I can kind of understand, and like I said, I've definitely been made more aware of the flaws of YA books. And like the flaws of Sarah J. Maas's books, for instance. And how they're not perfect. And they can be problematic. But, I still like them. And it's amazing how different people's opinions can be. It's just so surprising and so shocking at times. And sometimes sometimes reviews are really funny. Like, if you care about the book, then yeah, you might get a little sensitive about it. And maybe I'm the only one who gets sensitive, but yeah, you're going to be bothered by it. But sometimes if you're far enough away from the book, or you just don't care about the book, those reviews can be really funny. And people are really passionate about their dislike of a book. Sometimes, like, I will read these reviews. It's like, oh my god, wow, you really hate this book. It's like, okay, and sometimes I'm like, well, that's not really fair. You shouldn't, that you judge the book, especially, like, if it's a series. And like, the book I was talking about earlier, that someone said that, like, I'll watch a review where someone says they don't like this book. And, at the time, I was kind of like, that's not fair. You have to read the next book. But then afterwards, I'm thinking, well, I guess I can understand your feelings. It's Akamath. Someone that I do still like watching, a booktuber that I like watching, was talking about how they didn't like, well, it wasn't Akamath, but Akatar, the first book, A Court of Thorns and Roses, they said they did not like Rhysand's character. And they didn't understand how this character could be the love interest, because this character, and I was kind of afraid to see what she was going to say, what her review of it. So I have not watched her review of the book, but I know she did not like it, and she has no interest in continuing on. And I remember at the time, I was like, how can you judge this character if you have not even read the next book? You just assume. Of course, I'm also trying to remind myself, well, sometimes there's a line people don't want to cross. People have their limits to what they'll forgive or what they'll be okay with in a book. And sometimes it annoys me, and other times I'm thinking, well, I gotta be more understanding. And like, even a book that I have never read, I was like, I kept hearing about how great this character was and how there'll be a love interest and how they change and grow as a character, just like Rhysand does in the Agatar series. And part of me is thinking, well, you can't really hate on this character because if you have not continued on with the next book, because the first book was, you couldn't handle the first book, then how can you just say, oh, I don't get how people could like this character. But then again, of course, I probably have done that too. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, the opinions of others that are so different are so fascinating to me. And I definitely am I am trying to be more critical of a reader also because of Booktube, which is very challenging. Especially when it's not like in school where you have people holding you accountable and that you'll get a bad grade if you don't think more critically of this book or you don't write about and think about what you're reading and trying to comprehend it. Okay, so the last one, I guess in a way, it kind of is a similar answer. What influence do you hope, never mind. It's more what influence do you hope you'll hold on people? What influence do you hope your own channel will have on Booktube community and or aspiring booktubers? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just wanted to do this because I thought it'd be fun, so I could talk about books. I mean, even when I did the Booktube newbie tag and they kind of asked a similar question, like, what do you hope your channel will do? What do you think you'll do for the community? The good news is, like, it's not like if you don't have an answer for this question, it's not like you'll get kicked out of YouTube or something. No. But, I don't know. I mean, I hope I get more people to read books, I guess. And be more open to certain kinds of books. I mean, I'm not a booktuber I feel like I'm not any different than any other booktuber. I feel like I'm not that special. I don't read certain types of books. I'm not that great at reviewing books. I'm very open-minded and I'm not as opinionated or as critical as some people. I mean, there are things I don't like reading, but I feel like honestly, I feel like I'm not a special booktuber that holds any sway on people. I mean, if I do hold sway on the people that are subscribed to me, then that's awesome, as long as it's a good sway, as long as it's not like a negative thing. As long as I'm influencing you in a good way, then if I am, that's great. That will be a nice surprise, a very pleasant surprise if I'm influencing you in any way, or not any way, but in a good way, then great. But if I am, I'm not aware of it. And I feel like a lot of books I read are, a lot of booktubers like. And now a lot of the books I'm reading now are because of Booktube. So, I mean, I hope my channel has an impact on someone, somewhere, or has an impact on the people that are subscribed to me. But I don't know if it really does. And I'm not trying to be, and I'm not trying to be special, or I don't know, I don't have a certain niche, or a certain, I read, what a lot of people read. Fantasy is a very popular genre. I read a lot of fantasy, and a lot of the books I read, I've discovered because of Booktube. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I really hope I can upload this video. If not, this is going to be a waste of conversation, and I might have to redo this video anyway. And what I might end up doing is either putting the same outfit on because I really love this outfit. Showing it. But I'm going to stop here before this video gets too long, and I hope I can upload it. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!